Lesson 24. Do you know about? Do you know about?
Do you know about?
Do you know anyone who's good at computers?
Do you know anyone who's good at computers?
Do you know about the bird sitting over there?
Do you know about the bird sitting over there?
Lesson 25. Have you ever heard about?
Have you ever heard about?
Have you ever heard the saying, a problem shared is a problem halved?
Have you ever heard the saying, a problem shared is a problem? 이거 뭐라고 읽냐?
Have you heard the news about Mary?
Have you heard the news about Mary?
Lesson 26. You know, don't you?
You know, don't you?
You know Sally, don't you?
You know Sally, don't you?
You know the girl sitting next to our teacher, don't you?
You know the girl sitting next to our teacher, don't you?
Lesson 27. Are you aware of?
Are you aware of?
Are you aware how much it costs?
Are you aware how much it costs?
Are you aware of your responsibilities for this project?
Are you aware of your responsibilities for this project?
Lesson 28. I know about.
I know about.
I know how much you love Chinese food.
I know how much you love Chinese food.
I know you're very busy these days.
I know you're very busy these days.
Lesson 29. I heard about. I have heard about.
I heard about. I have heard about.
I heard you won first prize in the writing contest.
I heard you won first prize in the writing contest.
I have heard about the flood in the southern area.
I have heard about the flood in the southern area.
Lesson 30. I'm aware of.
I'm aware of.
I'm well aware of my responsibilities as a team leader.
I'm well aware of my responsibility as the team leader.
PS.
If you are aware of local and global issues, your efforts to make the world a better place will continue.
If you are aware of local and global issues, your efforts to make the world a better place will continue.
Lesson 31. I'm curious about.
I'm curious about.
I'm curious about why you decided to change jobs.
I'm curious about why you decided to change jobs.
The shepherds who found the substance were curious about its softness.
The shepherds who found the substance were curious about its softness.
Lesson 32. I wonder.
I wonder.
I wonder if you've ever regretted becoming a diver.
I wonder if you could ever decorated, becoming audible.
I wonder if you remember an email that we sent to you a few days ago about the annual meeting.
I wonder if you remember an email that we sent to you a few days ago about the annual meeting.
Lesson 33. Could you tell me?
Could, could you tell Could you tell me?
Could you tell me about the meeting in summary?
Could you tell me about the meeting in summary?
Could you tell me about what happened to your car yesterday?
Could you tell me about what happened to your car yesterday?
Lesson 34. Excuse me, would you happen to know?
Excuse me, would you happen to
Excuse me, would you happen to know where our teacher is?
Excuse me, would you happen to know where our teacher
Excuse me, would you happen to know when the next class starts?
Excuse me, would you happen to know that when the next class starts?
Lesson 35. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I don't have a clue.
I don't have a clue.
Lesson 36. Do you remember? Don't you remember?
Do you remember? Don't you remember?
Do you remember the pen pal I told you about a few days ago?
Do you remember the pamper I told you about a few days? Do you remember the pamper I told you about a few days ago?
Don't you remember me?
Don't you remember me?
Lesson 37. You haven't forgot about, have you?
You haven't forgotten about, have you?
You haven't forgotten about the appointment with the dentist, have you?
You haven't forgotten about the appointment with the dentist, have you?
You haven't forgotten about the book I lent you last month, have you?
You haven't forgotten about the book I lent you last month, have you?
Lesson 38. I don't remember. I can't remember.
I don't remember, I can't remember.
I remember mostly good things, and I tend to forget bad ones.
I remember mostly good things and I tend to forget bad ones.
I met her once, but I can't remember her face.
I met her once, but I can't remember her face.
Lesson 39. I'll never forget.
I will never forget.
I'll never forget the breakfast you made today.
I will never forget the breakfast you made today.
I'll never forget his speech at the Christmas party.
I will never forget his speech at the Christmas party.
Lesson 40. I nearly forgot. I completely forgot.
I nearly forgot. I completely forgot.
I nearly forgot to bring my presentation computer file.
I nearly forgot to bring my presentation computer file.
I completely forgot about the letter that you sent to me last Christmas.
I completely forgot about the letter that you sent to me last Christmas.
Lesson 41. Please remember to. Please remember to.
Please rem- Please remember to.
Please remember to give me a phone call in the afternoon.
Please remember to give me a phone call in the Please remember to give me a phone call in the
Please remember visiting South Korea, especially the happiest moment in Seoul.
Please remember visiting South Korea, especially the happiest moment in Seoul.
Lesson 42. Please remind me to.
Please remind me to.
Please remind me to pick her up at 4.
Please remind me to pick her up at 4.
Please remind me to mail the letter later. Please remind me to mail the letter later.
Please remind me to mail the letter later.
Lesson 43. Don't forget to.
Don't forget to.
Don't forget to praise others when they need support.
Don't forget to praise others when they need support.
Don't forget promising to get back home early in the evening.
Don't forget promising to get back home early in the evening.
Lesson 44. Are you sure about? Are you certain about?
Are you sure about? Are you certain about?
Are you sure you have time?
Are you sure you have time?
Are you certain about the success of our project?
Are you certain about the success of our project?
Lesson 45. I'm not quite sure. I'm absolutely sure. I'm not quite sure. I'm absolutely sure.
I'm not quite sure. I'm not absolutely sure.
I'm not quite sure if he can make it.
I'm not quite sure if he can make it.
I'm absolutely sure he'll be fine.
I'm absolutely sure he'll be fine.
Lesson 46. I couldn't really tell you.
I couldn't really tell.
I couldn't really tell you that I will be home by 7 p.m.
I couldn't really tell you that I will be home by 7 p.m.
I couldn't really tell you when I will finish my homework today.
I couldn't really tell you when I will finish my homework today.
Lesson 47. Is it? Do you know when she left?
I don't know.
Do you know when she left?
Do you know when she left?
He looks familiar, but I don't remember his name.
He looks familiar, but I not remember his name.
Great! I completely forgot to hand in my report.
I completely forgot to hand in my report.
Have you heard about the holiday next week? 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 Have you heard about the holiday next week?
Have you heard about Have you heard about the holiday next week?
Try again. Great!
Do you remember when we met?
Do you remember when we met?